The GMC Yukon is one of the greatest SUVs that you can get, and GMC thinks so too because they pretty much haven't changed anything in 5 years. If you have a 2015 to 2020 GMC Yukon, you still have the original headlights from 5 years ago, and that's a big problem if you're concerned about safety. They haven't touched the performance of the headlights that entire time, and if you're on the road today with modern vehicles that have upgraded headlights, you have a major disadvantage. Their headlights are brighter, their headlights are whiter, they're wider, and they go further down the road. If you want that type of lighting for your Yukon, all you need to do is take out your old headlights and swap them out for the Morimoto XB LED projector headlights. These are totally plug and play. They replace your original headlights and give you major increases in brightness, safety, and style. The low beams on these headlights are 256% brighter than what's on your truck now. And if you don't think that's going to make a meaningful difference in your nighttime driving experience, you're crazy. These will completely change what it's like to drive your Yukon at night. You're going to see farther down the road, which means avoiding obstacles, seeing animals, seeing people, other vehicles. Everything about brighter lights and longer visibility helps you at night. It also reduces eye fatigue. If you ever take your Yukon out on a road trip at night, these are going to help you drive farther during the night without getting so tired. When you're constantly straining to see down the road because your old headlights are so dim, it makes you tired. With brighter headlights, it's scientifically proven that it helps you stay more alert for longer while driving at night. Driving at night is a very stressful experience if you can't see anything. These headlights will help with that. These headlights are also way wider, which you can see in these pictures. That major increase in brightness and width is going to help you see everything around you better than you ever have before. The way these headlights accomplish this is the new technology built into the Morimoto XB headlights. As you can see, there are 3 projectors. These aren't your average run-of-the-mill projectors. These are powered by genuine Osram Oslan 5000K LED chips built into the assembly that holds a projector. So it's not a light bulb behind a projector and they have to work together. This is all one sealed unit that's engineered to create these specific beams. On low beam, you have all 3 projectors firing. That's way more light output than what you have now. And when you flip it to high beam, the bottom 2 projectors fire up also. You're getting way more light sources from way more powerful light than you have on your stock system. Now that's not the only reason why these headlights are safer and better looking on your Yukon. The other reason is this very large C-shaped DRL that goes around the perimeter of the light. See, your current truck has a DRL, but it's not very bright. It doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of helping people see your truck during the day. The daytime running light strip on the Morimoto XB LED projector headlights is way brighter than your original, and it has a more modern color. Now when you turn the headlights on, that DRL functions just like your OEM system by dimming to 50%. It's also a much larger DRL, which gives more people a better opportunity to see you, and it is more aesthetically pleasing. This shape is way better looking than what's on your truck today. The other thing these XB headlights do better than the stock headlights is the turn signal. Do you see this big strip along the top? That whole strip is a brand new LED turn signal. And when we do the install, we're going to show you how you can choose if you want it just to do the standard blink or a sequential. Now, both of these are going to give you more turning visibility to other drivers because it's a larger viewing angle than what's on your truck to begin with. So more people are going to see your blinker from more directions and farther away because it's also brighter. If you care about how your truck looks, this is definitely going to make a change in that department too. Now, if you're like most people, you also don't love the idea of having to replace light bulbs every couple of years. With these headlights, that's not an issue. These are a completely maintenance-free sealed assembly. That means that the LED chips that have a 50,000 hour lifespan are built in. If you saw the back of this, you don't even have an access to get into the headlight. There is nothing to swap out when they get dim or break, because they last way longer than anything else on the market. The strip on top for your turn signal is made up of several LEDs in a row. Each of those are maintenance free. You'll never have to swap out a turn signal bulb again. The 3 LED projectors that produce your low and high beam are also integrated LED. There's no headlight bulbs to swap out ever again. And the best part is these are totally plug and play. In a minute, we're going to show you actually how to do the install step by step. Take off your old headlights, install these, and it's super easy. It's the same process as swapping out your stock headlights, just this time around you get better lighting, better style, and increased safety. The way that we demonstrate brightness increase is by measuring lux. That's the actual usable light at a certain distance in space. So we're taking our digital lux meter and measuring the brightest spot at 25 feet for both of these headlights. What you really want to pay attention to though is the percent change in brightness. That's going to give you an idea of how much brighter these headlights are in every situation. Your stock headlights on low beam in this test only come in at 160 maximum lux. I've seen fog lights that are brighter than that. However, the Morimoto XB LED projector headlights come in at 570 maximum lux. That's a 250% increase in brightness. These are on par with modern luxury vehicles, not your old stock headlights. When we change it to high beam, your old stock headlights come in at 400 maximum lux. That's a pretty significant increase over low beam, but the LED headlights are way brighter, coming in at 840 maximum lux. These LED headlights from Morimoto are 110% brighter than your stock headlights on high beam. There's a million reasons why you should be putting these headlights on your Yukon, so now we're going to show you the step-by-step install.
Thanks, Chris. Now we can get started on this headlight installation on this 2015 through 2019 GMC Yukon. We got these brand new Morimoto XB headlight housings. Let's get started with removing the grille cover. There's 6 push pins. Let's begin. Now that we have the push pins removed, we can take off the cover. Make sure when you do that, give it a little bit of a pry right here, and it comes right off. The first step is removing the bumper. We have to remove the bumper connector that goes to the fog lights and these 6 bolts up top. Let's get to it. Now we can remove these 6 10mm bolts. Now we can remove these 6 bolts that are inside the fender liner right here. They're 7mm size. Repeat the same steps for the other side. Okay, we're almost done with the bumper removal. The next step is to climb underneath the vehicle. There's 3 bolts and 1 push pin on either side, and there's also 2 bolts in the middle of the bumper. Let's start removing the push pins first. And do the same steps for the other side. Now that we finally have all the bolts removed, we can take off the bumper. Now we can remove the bolts for the headlight housing. There's 4 10mm bolts. Now we're going to remove the single connector for the housing. Now that we have the headlight housing removed, we need to reuse the bottom bracket on the XB housing. There are 3 T20 torque screws. Now that we have the stock bracket off of the OEM housing, we can place it onto the XB housing. And then we can install the headlight onto the vehicle. Now we can install this fuse tab that goes to the DRL harness. We need to start by removing the fuse box cover located on the driver's side of the vehicle. Now we can insert the fuse tab harness. It goes into fuse slot 75. The shorter red end goes to the driver's side, and the longer black side goes to the passenger side. Now we're going to run the passenger side derailleur harness. I like to go around the washer reservoir and go along the top of the radiator core support. With the derailleur harness installed, now we can close the top of the fuse box. Now before we install these new XB housings, they do have a sequential turn signal. If you do not want that function, simply unplug this connector. Plug in the main harness, then plug in the derailleur harness. Now we can mount the housing. Once you've confirmed everything works, you can bolt everything back up. Also, make sure to tighten up any loose wires. Back to you, Chris.
These things are so easy to install because they have all the same wire connections as your stock headlights. They have the same brackets as your stock headlights. They have the same adjustment screws as your stock headlights. But they look way cooler and they're way brighter. If you want to get more information, detailed specs, pictures, pricing info, and any other information about these headlights, check out the link in the description below the video or visit headlightrevolution.com, put in your year, make, and model, and we'll bring it up for you.